Hello and welcome to Frames Team. Today I bring you the good news. Apparently the Nikon Z6III will finally be announced in the next 2 weeks. That's a big news. Now, why has this delay been happening? Apparently this delay has not only impacted Nikon but also the likes of Canon, Leica, and also apparently Panasonic. I saw that video by Andrea Pizzini, the Sony Alpha Rumors guy, and he talked about the fact that the usual sea routes have been disturbed because of the war in the Middle East, and so many shipments will have to actually take that route via South Africa and then go up towards North America and Europe. So that increases time. It not only impacts a Japanese company sending products to different parts of the world, but it also impacts them in terms of sourcing. If stuff are coming from other parts of the world, it looks like right now we may have something coming up in the next couple of weeks. So we are yet to see. I actually wrote a mail to Nikon asking for my first pre-booking. I said, please pre-book the camera to me. And they were like, what are you talking about? Okay, I get it. So I have no official confirmation from anywhere that the Nikon Z6III is coming in the next 2 weeks. But the fact is, I think it is quite near. It makes sense for this to be announced in mid-June, because it will take typically about a month from the announcement date for it to hit the market. So let's say 15th of June is when it gets announced. Let's say it could be 10th or 11th June. It will take about a month to finally hit the market, right? Which means that you're talking about 15th July. Now 15th July is when the first shipment happens. That is in time with the wedding season in many countries all over the world. Definitely in Asia, right? Because August is when really the wedding season starts happening, and that's just in time. This announcement, if it happens in sometime in June, mid-June, this is just the right time for Nikon to catch the wedding season. And I know for a fact that when the Z was launched, at least in India, there was a lot of hue and cry, and because people really expected the Z6III to be launched, but it was a ZF instead. And so Nikon wanted to actually tell people, hey, you can actually use the ZF with the grip and use it for portraiture and video and wedding photography. And it is a very capable camera, but just that it's probably more suited for travel and for street photography. But all this conversation was happening because there was this big vacuum created by the absence of the Z6III. So the Nikon shooters has had to wait. And I'll tell you, I'll just read out a comment because it's very interesting what people have been thinking. Sebastian, maybe 3 weeks ago, he left a comment on one of my videos. He said that he's been waiting for the Z6III. I think as many users, I don't find the Mark II Z6II to worth the update, but now it makes sense to update if the product brings all the features we need. I'm on the spot that I want to upgrade from my beloved Z6, but can't spend and don't need to spend so much money to acquire a Z8. So I think that sort of sums up the sentiment. This camera has been, it's a long-awaited camera, really. It's one of the most impatiently anticipated camera. I think this is going to be the 4-year circle for Z6III. Between Z6 and 3, I think it's going to be 4 years. I think the Z6II came out, I think it was in 2020. Yes, I think the Z6II came out in 2020. We're all keeping our fingers crossed, and I think this is time for Nikon to launch. We are not sure when Canon is finally going to launch the R5 II, but then that's a more expensive camera, not really the market. The most important in terms of value, the most important price bracket of pro camera market is the $2,000 to $2,500. Now there are a few associated considerations related to the Z6III. First, the pricing, and there have been some conversations about it. I'll just read out one comment. Let me just read out this comment. I personally believe a used Z8 will be really close to a new Z6III when the price drops off the Z8. $3,000 a used Z8 versus $2,500 for a new Z6III. It's going to make it hard on a lot of people. Plus, the weight as stated. And I think this comment makes a lot of sense, and therefore I think remember that we have seen huge amount of rebates on the Z8, and of course there will be people who will probably be wanting to move to something else for various reasons, and those cameras can be easily had in the market between 2800 to 3200 US dollars. I'm pretty sure that's a decent price for people to sell a 1-year-old camera, although I would think that there should be no depreciation on the Z8 because it doesn't have a shutter and the camera is built so well. Having said that, it makes sense now for Nikon to actually price it at, I would say, 22.5 or 2300 US dollars to maintain about 800 US dollars gap with a used Z8. But then at the same time, there are probably thousands of people who are looking for a Z6III, but there are probably not thousands of used Z8s out there. Now I'm going to read another interesting comment about what the Z6III is going to be. Now I have some information about it. I have some information from very interesting sources. It's just that they're unconfirmed information. I'm going to talk about that, what I have learned in a different video, because today I have to also talk about Lumix S9. So I'll probably do a follow-up video on this topic in a couple of days. So if you have not subscribed to the channel, subscribe, like the video, and help me out by helping me reach 10,000 subscribers. Understand that these videos take a lot of mind space and actual physical real time. So if you'd like to support, comment, subscribe, and like the video if you like it. So he says Nikon will create a revolutionary camera with the Z6III. I'm sure it's not going to be just an update. And let's read the comment. Someone says CSC Photo says my prediction is it's going to be a stacked 24 megapixel sensor with no mechanical shutter. So I don't know. So people have different expectations. Some say that for a while I thought 24 is good enough. Then I thought that I think we need 33. So we are honestly confused. There are different, it's just that I think we do not want big compromises to happen to video, which is why a lot of people think that it should be a 24 megapixel camera. But to be honest, when the competitor A7 IV is at 33 megapixels and it's a really good camera, very good dynamic range, I think it makes a lot of sense for Nikon to offer us something which is 30 plus megapixels without compromising on the video features. I have a theory based on my information on what it's going to be. So check out my next video, which is going to appear in the next 2 or 3 days. Now today I want to also talk about something else. I want to follow up on my last video on the Lumix S9 where I said Lumix S9 is shit. Now I may have used strong language, but I still don't think that I was not justified doing that. I'm not talking about the nature of the language or the harshness of it, but I'm talking about the intent and the meaning of that. I literally mean that the S9 is not a good enough camera to be priced at 1500 US dollars. But not only that, I also think that the Lumix S9 is kind of exploitative in the way it has marketed itself to people, and the kind of ways people have come in to defend the Lumix is especially crazy. I'll read out a comment. I'm hiding out the names. One person says, and I'm going to try and calmly respond to these critical comments. I have no problem with criticism or critical comments. I think it's just that it should be backed with at least some common sense. Let me read this comment. He says, your criticism of price and the manual focus lens is justified. Great. Absolutely, but other things make no sense. If it's a 1 minute video, it probably would take 10-15 minutes of shooting. That's what I said. He says, dude, for a 1 minute video, you will stop and start recording multiple clips, a few seconds of minutes. I agree, but that's just one way of shooting that. You could be needing to shoot this straight 15 minutes long videos or even half an hour long videos. Maybe you are going to create cuts that are finally 1 minute edits. It doesn't mean you have to literally stop every time. Like for example, let's say a restaurant calls you and says, hey, for social media posting, I want 10-second clips. How are you going to plan it? You're going to probably take long takes. Of course, there'll be planned takes, but then in the edit, you're going to figure out what to do with it. It's very difficult to do exact 10-minute shots, right? It's never going to be exact like that. And what, as a creator, what you will eventually need is for you to not get interrupted when you're in the zone, when you have something going on, because you don't know when that 15-minute cut is going to appear. He goes on to say the camera will not shut down after recording continuously for 15 minutes. It just has to stop and start recording again. That's not true, because Lumix has come out and said that they tested, I think, at 126 or 140 degree Fahrenheit, and I think it's about 40 degrees centigrade or a bit more. Their idea is that the camera should work at that temperature. So whatever the best performance, whatever the safe thermal performance at that kind of temperature is going to be the limit of the camera. So it seems like that in those kind of testing circumstances, the Lumix S9 is good for 15 minutes of 4K recording or 10 minutes of 6K recording, which means that it will stop in those kind of circumstances. I'm in New Delhi. It hit 52.5 today in India. In New Delhi in India. It's the highest ever recorded here, right? 52.5. There are many other places all over the world, Asia, other places where it's, even in Australia right now, probably, and Australia is also a very hot country. You don't always have very cool weather, right? So it's not always cold. It's not North Europe all the time and all the places. So there are situations, there are people for who this 15-minute record time is real. It's not theoretical. It's a real limitation. The camera will shut down because that's how it won't perform beyond that, as per Lumix's own confession. I'll put the link to that video somewhere. Then he goes on to say, do you even know what you're talking? I think I do. For all the things you mentioned as shortcomings, the S5 II is right there. Why am I going to talk about the S5 II? If a parent has two kids, a boy named John and a boy named Tom, if you discuss John's school performance, are you going to say that, hey, but Tom did very well? Why are you mixing the two? Why is S5 II in the conversation? Of course, the S5 II right there. In my video, I said that I have actually recommended the S5 II and S5 2SX to many people. I called someone and showed, I mean, it's real. I have spoken about Panasonic to many people, despite primarily being a Nikon shooter. I've said for video, if you're going to sort of focus on video, go beyond the Sonys, go beyond Panasonic, because they seem to have a very well designed lineup, starting from the lenses, the kind of stabilization, the kind of body design, color profile, everything is very, very good. The useless rant is justified only and only if you compare all the features. Yeah, I will compare all the features. Why won't I compare all the features? And why is it useless? Because I'm comparing all the features, because I'm mentioning the shortcomings, which to me doesn't make sense, and which to lots of people doesn't make sense. And the comment sections on all these videos are proof for that. Not the user's rant is justified only and only if you compare all the features, not just nitpick based on what you think is the ideal way of shooting photos and videos. I am not talking about any ideal way of shooting photos and videos, okay? You can be happy with a handicap, you can figure out a way. But that's not why you pay money. You pay money for a solution, not a half solution, a complete solution. I'm just curious, going by the math of it, if 15-minute recording limit costs you $1,500, a 30-minute recording limit should cost you $3,000? Is that the logic? What are you talking about? So I'm not talking about any ideal way of shooting. I'm not talking about ideal cameras. I'm not talking about ideal products. I'm talking about basic necessities in 2024. The camera is launched in 2024 so that it can be used at least for the next 3-4 years. It's going to be outdated. It is already outdated. And that's my point. Many photographers and videographers work with far less, yet do great work. I'm sure. That is not because the camera is great. That's because they're great guys. What's your point here? I mean, that's because they're great creatives who could turn a challenge into probably an advantage. Hats off to them, not to the bad product that they're using. And that doesn't become an excuse for making a bad product. If you're saying that I am making a camera for only the best photographers and videographers, only the ones who have spent 10 years, 15 years to reach the top of the game, then am I not being a little exclusive? Sure, you will be exclusive if you do that. You will probably get that niche 0.001% of the market. And the rest of the people will speak like I was. I'm not at the top of my game. I am not those guys who can take a very bad equipment and do some great work. I submit, I'm not. I don't think I should fault myself for that. It's a journey. I'll reach there. But till I reach there, I'm not going to consider products that depend on me being great to pull off a job. That just, it doesn't make logical sense. I thought you were honest. Well, I am honest. You think Lumix is paying me? Fuji is paying me? Nikon is paying me? Who is paying me, man? Who? My subscriber count is 5,000 or something because you guys don't, subscribe. Who do you think is paying me? I thought you were honest. I am honest. Don't worry about that at all. You don't have to worry about that. But this one just seems to catch on the engagement train. No, I planned my video before. I have no way to prove it. But I did plan my video before Gerald Undone. But understand, Gerald Undone was brewing with the ideas of what he wanted to say much before, because we didn't know that these guys were taken to Japan, right? We didn't know that. Gerald did, because he was one of those people who were in with what's happening with Panasonic or other brands, right? So he had more time to think through this and then prepare a speech and then talk about it. I didn't. I reacted to the rumors and I made a video saying that the ZF is the model for everyone who wants to make a camera which is similar to that form factor, which is small, light, highly versatile, sexy to look at, lifestyle-ish camera, can do great photo, can do great video. I mean, why would someone buy the S9? Go and buy the, if you want an all-round camera, go and buy the ZF, go and buy the X-T5, the XS20. I mean, really? The XH2S. Those are the cameras to buy. It just doesn't make what? Because it's flat? That's his credential? I don't think so. There are good ways to generate engagement. Oh, and one thing, your rant on people going to Osaka doesn't look professional. No, what? What do you mean by professional? What's my profession, you think? YouTube is something that I'm passionate about. If I get to earn money, it will become my profession. It is not yet. My professional loyalty is towards my viewers, not to some guy sitting in America or in Canada being, invited by some other company, which I have no relationship. Where is, have I signed a contract that I have breached? Where is this coming from? It's all made up. It's not real. There is nothing unprofessional about being critical of others. If so, then you're saying that I have limitation to my free speech. I have actually spoken with people in Nikon. I said that, look, I have done this video, okay? And at no point in time have I actually tried to hide any problem that Nikon has had. Remember when the Z8 was launched, the day next I launched a video that said, the very next day I launched a video that says, does the Nikon Z8 have a bug? Because there was a flicker, because it's a flicker-free camera, meaning there's no blackout. It's a blackout-free camera, but you can experience some blackout when you have flicker reduction on. All right. So I didn't know that, and it was nowhere. I typically switch on flicker reduction as a habit, and there was blackout after every shot, and I was going crazy. I made that video, and Nikon was cool with it. All right. I talked about it the very next day. Understand the hype. It was in the middle of the hype. It is Nikon's next biggest launch after the Z9. All right. I started this channel with a sense of injustice. I felt that the conversation around Nikon was wrong, and I wanted to set it right. That's the reason I started the channel, and that needs to be understood. The channel exists today here because I wanted to bring more honesty. I wanted to bring more truthfulness. My content is not the most finished, the most cinematic, of course not. But at least what I'll not never fail you on is my sense of is me being genuine. Now I could be completely wrong, and if I tell you that I could be, if I tell you something that is wrong, that's because I believe it to be true. I don't know. It's a lack of information, not lack of honesty. Anyway, moving on, he posted another comment where he said, "You lack basic English understanding." No, I don't think so. Please read my comment again and regarding the recording time limit. He repeats the point. As you said, the camera is shit according to you. Think people don't have the right to say it's perfect according to them? Of course. You can say the earth is flat. You can say the earth is flat. You can believe that according to you, the earth is flat. You can say that. I will never deny that you can say that. But say that in an open market in front of people. Also take notice of the reaction of people. I think that's enough, no? Then someone says that this camera is only targeted to content creators. No, why? Why? A camera is a camera. Well, why can't it be targeted to a content creator who creates long form cooking videos? Because that woman who's in her probably 40s in some village in India who wants to create good content, or in Africa, okay, they want to create great village cooking videos. Very interesting videos, those. You should check some of those guys out or girls out. She doesn't know technicalities. She has seen a video that says there are no perfect cameras, but the S9 comes close. Okay? Are you going to disappoint her? Because she's a content creator? Because she's a content creator, she should be set up for failure and bad surprises? Again, come on. What does content creator mean? TikTokers who dance for exactly 60 seconds? Exactly 15 seconds? Exactly 10 seconds? How does dance happen, man? It's an organic process. If someone dancing and doing retakes or doing something else, and you want them to stop their organic flow and then get up and set the camera again and come back? That is so low on empathy, man. Okay. Someone says, very interesting comment. Amazing comments from someone who has never used the camera. You're right. I've never traveled the world, but I kind of know that it's round. And I said that I don't have to dip my fingers in acid to know that it'll burn. I don't know. So now shitting on every product is making YouTubers credibility? No. Not shitting on every product. Shitting on the S9. I didn't say every product that came out that month or that day is bad or shit. I said the S9 is shit. Someone says, or you can say this camera is not for you. Sure thing, there are a target audience for it, and it's not you. Don't be hateful. I was not being hateful. I was being objective about the fact that the way the serious problems were being overlooked. And I am telling you, Chris and Jordan, Matt Johnson, there was another guy, a couple of other people. They were fantastic. Oh, Kai, they're fantastic. I mean, they just, I think their reviews are very honest, really honest. That's what you expect from them, right? But I'm not being hateful when I'm saying that I can see so many reviews that seem to be playing the problems down and playing a very few strengths that the camera has up. That's bias, right? I'm going to see you soon. Subscribe to the channel. I'm going to see you soon with another one soon.